Good morning, warriors. Welcome to the U Movement. I am B. I wanted to hop on and talk a little bit about something that I discovered on my own healing path. Is a sad reality that you will not be supported. You would think that all of the people that you hold near and dear to you in your life would be cheering you on. And some might, but a large majority of people that are still doing all of the things that you're no longer doing won't resonate with you anymore. And in fact, without consciously trying to pull you down, will unconsciously try to pull you down and throw shade and minimize and just say some pretty cruel, hurtful things, almost from an unconscious or triggered place. And that's because when you ascend out of certain behaviors or certain habits or certain thinking or certain cycles, certain rules within the family, you draw attention to energies that they have yet to be able to ascend out of. And that's triggering. That's triggering for people. When you stop drinking, all your friends that still drink might say some sarcastic quips, like there's nothing wrong with it. I only do it in moderation. Instead of celebrating and going, yay, you, that's amazing, that's fantastic. Why did you do that? The same with any other substances that you quit. There'll be justification or minimization or projection. And that's because you're triggering in them. Being a light worker is exceptionally triggering to begin with. We trigger when we speak our truths and we stand in our authenticity. We trigger some and we motivate others. There is another collective that's amazing. If you can do it, that's so inspirational. I want to follow in your footsteps. How did you do it? That does come. But there's a large majority that are still in the camp of, there's nothing wrong with what I do. I'm using this medicinally. Why are you saying that? You'll trigger a lot of people in their own shadow because you've been able to overcome and face things that they themselves have not been able to do yet. That doesn't mean that they won't at some point, but in this present moment of time, if you've lost weight and they're still eating bad foods, you could trigger and irritate them. If you've managed to pull yourself out of coping strategies like using marijuana or pharmaceuticals or something else, they might respond from, well, I need this, there's nothing wrong with it, and I'm not saying there's anything. You're just living your own life, doing your own thing, going, I'm trying to get healthy for me and pull myself out of dark places. And yay me, and you turn around and go, hey, look at me, and you don't get yay you. So be aware of that as something that you will be challenged with. I talk about on the healing journey, there's so many challengers, and most of those are inside of you. And just like somebody on the outside of you projecting, it might trigger you. So it might be like a trigger. So you're like, hey, look at me, look what I did, look what I accomplished. And you get back projection or criticism or a lecture or anything. And you're like, oh, well, that's not what I wanted. I wanted some validation. I wanted some appreciation. I wanted some yay tapping me on the back. And when you don't get that energy, it can then trigger you. to be hurt and confused, and then you have now an opportunity to go heal. Your job isn't to convince anyone of doing anything or educate anyone of anything. That's not what I do. I share what I share so those over here in this camp that want to know can have information. These over here that don't want to know and want to walk away and want to project outwards, that's not my business. It's not my problem. It's not something that influences me anymore, because I've gone through all the shadows of healing and being in the energy of the courage to be disliked, because you will be disliked. When you quit things, when you cure things, when you accomplish things, you will be disliked. And it's not from necessarily, as I said, a conscious place. It's from a shadow inside of them that they haven't overcome it. You've managed to do something that they haven't managed to do yet. And so the best thing to do in those situations is to boundary up and give yourself some distance, because you don't deserve to be treated poorly because you've accomplished something. You can just create a bit of space in that situation so that you're protected and not taking on their shadow. Because when people project out their shadow, I kind of look at it's like monkeys, and monkeys throw shit. They throw their own shit at you. So you've done something, and the monkey mind in them, the shadow element in them, gets jealous, envious, frustrated with themselves for not accomplishing that. And so they're going to throw some shit at you. And they're going to say cruel things to you. And it's going to sound like you are this, you are that, or justifications, or any of these types of sentences. And you're not going to pick up the shit. Don't pick it up. Just because somebody throws something at you and says you are this or you are that, if it's a you are sentence, it's not accurate, because only you know what you are. So don't take somebody else's projections, because what those are 9 times out of 10 are confessions. So don't throw somebody's confessions and go, oh, I'm going to pick up this shit and I'm going to go, am I this? Am I that? Am I a mean person? Am I a bad person? Am I this? They said that I was, whatever they're calling you. Don't pick it up. Just don't pick it up. Let people spew their nonsense at you and understand that that's their own shadow lashing out because you've triggered them. You've shone a spotlight into something in their own psyche that they know that they need to quit, or know that they need to work on, or know, but they haven't been able to do that yet. So they're lashing out. It's a big shining light on their wounds and their shadows. So when they throw and project things at you, you just step back so you don't get hit. You don't need to take ownership of other people's projections. That was a very difficult lesson for me to learn, because my whole life I allowed others to define me. And I don't do that anymore. I define myself. I define myself by my successes. I provide myself with the acknowledgement of what I've accomplished, which is amazing. And I'm going to pat myself on the back for that. To quit the amount of things that I've quit, to cure the amount of things that I've cured, to heal, to escape, to do all of those things. And the list is lengthy. I'm going to be proud of myself for that. So if my successes trigger somebody else's shadows, that's not my problem. It's not my problem to fix. It's not my problem to justify myself or explain myself or try to temper their, I'm sorry that you're seeing it like that, and lots of love to you. Excuse me while I move myself into a safe distance, so I'm not going to accept any more criticism, judgment, or anything else. I'm just going to do me. So today's video is a little bit of a heads up that if you are on a healing path and you are going through a lot of shifts and changes where you're altering your behaviors, you're altering your activities, you're altering your thinking, you're healing traumas, be prepared to be misunderstood. Be prepared to be not celebrated and not cheered on, but kind of the opposite energy of trying to pull you back down into feeling ick, and just don't do it. Just don't let that happen. Eventually, they'll face their own shadow, and it's not your problem. It's not your job to fix anybody else. It's not your job to educate anybody else. It's your job to live your life, speak your truth, and do what you want. And those that want your information and those that resonate with your changing in lifestyle and those that want to follow in your footsteps will find you. They will just find you. You don't need to go looking for them. They will just find you. And those people may not be the same people. In fact, it's probably unlikely that they're the same people, because if you've come from a family structure where, for example, narcissism and there are certain cycles that permeate, certain understandings that permeate, and you as the scapegoat or the truth speaker says, nah, I'm breaking these cycles. They don't want the cycles to be broken. You're drawing attention to things they don't want to look at. You're speaking truths about things that they don't want to see. And so as you break away, there will be losses. And there will be an in-between place between the old people and the new people showing up. And when people start showing up that resonate with you and say, listen, I see you. I see what you've accomplished. I see what you're doing. I see you for who you are. It's a completely different vibe. It's a completely different thing. So be very aware of how people speak to you and understand how communication works. If you are hearing you are this with fingers pointed, that's not something you need to take ownership. If something is being projected at you, understand that that is a reflection back of that particular individual. It is not you. You define you. You know who you are. So don't pick up whatever's being flung and keep moving forward, because it's each step forward and each choice that you make that's going to help you climb and ascend out of one very not pleasant way of living into a different way of living. And it's been a process for me. I quit tobacco, I quit alcohol, I quit cannabis, I quit pharmaceuticals, I quit dairy, I quit sugar, I quit gluten, I quit self-loathing. I erected boundaries. I escaped from narcissistic abuse. I survived things that others may not have been able to survive. Actually, I know they haven't, because one of the things I survived was death. I have survived nervous breakdown. I've survived a kundalini. I've survived a twin flame situationship. I've survived. And I will continue to survive. If life's going to keep throwing me stuff, I'm going to keep surviving. Surviving doesn't always look like thriving, but every single thing that you do is like pulling yourself up out of the darkness and into the light, and learning to trust and have faith while you're in that in-between of where I once was to where I am going. It will feel lonely. You'll feel misunderstood. You will feel attacked. You will feel confused. You will feel betrayed. You will feel disloyalty. You will feel all kinds of feelings. This road and path to ascension isn't skipping through the daisies. It is not. It is hard, arduous work. So if you are quitting things, I am going to cheer you on. If you are stepping into new ways of behaviors and new ways of thinkings, I will cheer you on. And many others in the Spiritual Warrior Support Group will cheer you on. So feel free to come over and join us over there if you're struggling in the in-between. The way to join the Spiritual Warrior Support Group is in the description below. And if you would like a one-on-one to discuss some of the challenges that you're facing in that in-between place of what you used to do to who you are now becoming, because who am I now? Who am I now that I'm not those things? Who am I now that I don't do those things? It takes time to integrate a new reality. You know, when your old reality is maybe going to the pub every Friday night, and now all of a sudden you're like, what do I do with myself? You need to replace old behaviors, old thinking, and old people, unfortunately, that may not want you to succeed with new energies and new activities and new thinking and new environments and new people. When you change one thing, it's like a domino effect. Everything else in your reality will soon change too. As I was saying, if you need to book a one-on-one with me, please feel free to reach out. All of my services are donation-based. I look forward to hearing and meeting with you. Thank you very much for all of the likes, the shares, the subscriptions. I'm excited to see where this is taking me, where God is taking me, because in my life, nothing is what it was. No one is where they used to be, and it's all new. It's all being led divinely by God to see what happens next. Every morning, I'm going to wake up and go, what's going to happen today? What could happen today? I don't know. Something, nothing, curiosity. So there's my quick message today, sending you all my absolute love. Peace out.